Good day, students. Looking at Unit 1, page 74 till 77, we will be discussing on how to deal with abuse and how to identify threatening and risky situations. Firstly, I want to start with the fact that children should never be harmed intentionally in any way, especially by an adult. But unfortunately, it happens in everyday life and it's things that we can't prevent. So, I want to go on and look at the ways in which adults abuse children. So, we get physical abuse. This is the most easily recognized form of abuse, as it is caused by physical injury, such as marks and bruises. Secondly, we get sexual abuse. This is any type of inappropriate physical contact, usually involving private parts. So, this may be committed by an adult or a peer. Thirdly, we get emotional abuse. This happens when yelling and anger go too far, or in some cases when parents or adults constantly criticize or humiliate children. This is very harmful to a child's self-esteem, and it's equal to physical abuse, it's equal to sexual abuse. We should never underestimate the effect that emotional abuse has on children. So, the last thing is when an adult chooses to neglect a child. This means neglecting things like food, housing, clothes, medical care, or emotional support. Family violence can happen in any kind of family. Some parents abuse their children by using physical or even verbal cruelty as a way to discipline. Sometimes the abuser is an extended family member or just a family friend. Abuse should never be tolerated. Never. And you should never keep quiet when abuse is happening. But abuse doesn't always happen between an adult and a child. Abuse can also occur between peers. This is more commonly known as bullying. As we all know, bullying is a form of abusive behavior. It is aggressive. It means that you are hitting, name calling, showing nasty gestures, and you are social, and that person is socially excluded. And like we already said, intimidation, threats, and teasing can be equally harmful as beating someone. In the recent years, technology has given children a new means of bullying other children. When children are intentionally and repeatedly mean to one another using cell phones or even the internet, we call it cyberbullying. People who bully others may have been abused themselves, but that doesn't give them the right to harm someone else. It doesn't. And cyberbullying is also a very, very popular way of bullying in our in our new generations. So, when it comes to identifying threatening and risky situations, it is difficult for someone who has lived with abuse for many years. A person may think that the abuse is normal, that it's their fault for breaking the rules or not living up to people's expectations or not listening to their parents. And this is a huge mistake because it's never your fault for being abused. Growing up in a family where there is violence or abuse, it can lead to a child to think that it's the right way to treat other people. And it's not. There is no single reason why people abuse others. It can differ. We can look at reasons why someone may lose control. The first one is growing up in an abusive family. So, this can cause a cycle of abuse where those family members think that it is acceptable to abuse others. For instance, a boy is being bullied, a boy is being abused by his father, so he goes to school and bullies his friends, or grows up and abuses his own son. Another reason is people who cannot control their anger or deal with stressful situations. They tend to lose control and get outbursts. Then we get drinking too much alcohol or using drugs. This is also a huge factor. The last one is certain types of personality disorder or mental illness. This can interfere with someone's ability to relate to others in a healthy way. Fortunately, good news is that people who abuse can get help and learn how to take responsibility for how they behave and learn ways to change their behavior. If we look at the cycle of abuse, we can see that tension builds up, then it goes over and abuse takes place, and then we get to apologies, excuses, and amends. So let's look at an example. Let's say a man or even a woman, guys, even women can abuse people. Let's say this lady has a bad day at work and she keeps and it just keeps building tension, building tension, building tension. Then she gets home and her kids start nagging at her, and then the abuse takes place. And then after a while she goes and apologizes, make excuses. Oh, sorry honey, it was just a bad day at work, but it wasn't right that you irritated mommy or whatever. And then the next day it happens again and it happens again. And that is how the cycle goes on, guys. But there is hope because it can be broken. So, For today's class activity, I want you to do activity 1.1 and 1.3 on page 76 and 77. For the assessment, I want you to make a protest poster against abuse. This will be 20 marks. And on your poster, I want a statement, a type of abuse, and what triggers abuse. Okay, guys, and please be creative. I want some good creative posters and enjoy making this. I think it will be a fun activity for you guys. Enjoy your week, and then I will see you next